I feel like for a lot of Christians, there is a very big separation between therapy and faith.
I personally wanted to become a therapist because I wanted to join God's healing work. He really cares about how we feel and how we're doing and how our heart is doing.
As long as we are living on this earth, in this fallen world, God gifted us with different gifts. And for some of us, God gave us and called us to do what we do. I think it's like a tool that God uses to take care of his people living in this fallen world.
Being a therapist who's also Christian, ultimately God is our resource. Even we're doing therapy using our craft.
We don't see therapy as a resource given by God. But if we're able to reframe that.
I want to talk a little bit more about the specific stigma related to how, going to therapy means I'm not faithful, or my faith isn't strong enough, that I'm not praying enough, or I'm not relying on God enough. There's all these messages or beliefs that are really holding a lot of Christians back from seeking help, I feel like. And I'm just wondering in my head, how do we start to shift that? Or saying that that's not true? How do you think they could look at that differently?
One image that comes to mind is, I don't know where it's from, but that image of someone is drowning and there's a boat and the person's drowning, someone throws out like the floaty device to save them, and they're drowning, like, God help me, God help me. But no, I'm asking for God to help me. Like, I don't want the floaty device. Like, God, I need you to help me. And they're still drowning, and then it's like someone comes out, swims out to them to try to get them, and they're like, no, I don't want your help, I want God's help. And I think the story ends where like they end up dying, and then they go see God, and he was like, why didn't you take all the help that I offered? I think I skewed the story, but I think similarly, therapy is one of those lifelines that can be thrown out. And I feel like for a lot of Christians, there is a very big separation between therapy and faith or Christianity. And therapy is seen in a very secular sense where we don't see therapy as a resource given by God. But if we're able to reframe that and actually see, oh, therapy is actually a very powerful tool that God has provided us to help cope on this earth, in this life, I think that would really shift a lot of people's mindsets. And it would help people to feel a lot more open seeking out therapy if they don't see it as, oh, therapy is a sign of my weak faith. And if we can reframe that to, therapy is a tool given by God that I want to make use of.
I absolutely agree. I personally wanted to become a therapist because I wanted to join God's healing work. So I really, truly believe that God uses therapy and therapists to really work with a lot of individuals in their lives to heal and grow and come closer to God a lot of times too. So God works in so many different ways. He's so creative. So I just hope that people can see therapy as one of those ways that God can work in their lives.
That also reminds me too, I think I wanted to become a therapist when I was in 10th grade. I don't know where I got the idea, but I was thinking about myself as a Christian, and I realized, I don't have the gift of evangelism, and I thought that was like the best gift. Go and preach the gospel with boldness. But what I did have heart for was I wanted to help Christians who were stuck in their life and in their growth, and if I could just help them to get unstuck and move maybe to the next stage. That was my desire. God started kind of stirring that up in my heart. And after I studied, what I studied, and I went to study Christian counseling first, thinking I don't need to be a licensed. And I think I kind of shared in the same line of thinking of, oh, maybe secular psychology is just too secular. So I went to study Christian counseling. And after graduating from it, I thought, my goal in life, I just want to be an undercover counselor, right? Like I want to be, because we're giving and receiving counsel all the time. Parents are giving counsel to children, friends are giving and receiving counsel from one another all the time. And I said, I want to be an undercover counselor. And then soon I realized I had to explain, why, my heart all the time, I had to explain to myself too much to find the place to be able to do the work that I wanted to do. And so I said, okay, I think I need to go back and study and get licensed. So that's what took me back. I wholeheartedly agree. We are, in this world, we're constantly giving and receiving counseling. And I look forward to the day when we finally make it to the other side and when we get to heaven, that all four of us will be jobless, right? But as long as we are living on this earth, in this fallen world, God gifted us with different gifts. And for some of us, God gave us and called us to do what we do. And yeah, I think it's like a tool that God uses to take care of his people living in this fallen world. And, I hope that people won't see it as reaching out to connect to God-given resource is a less spiritual thing. It is, a blessing, I think, that God provided all different kinds, not just therapists, but all different kinds of helping professionals and others who produce stuff that we use every day and whatnot.
I think, being a therapist who's also Christian, ultimately God is our resource. Even we're doing therapy using our craft or whatnot, there are situations that we just have to pray, So I think we are using God as our resources, for help and guidance. Yeah.
And I was praying on the way here. As an introvert, I needed prayer during this talk and discussion today. But while I was praying, something that God reminded me and kind of guided me to pay attention to was what's in my heart and what am I feeling, what's important. And then God kind of reminded me that he really cares about how we feel and how we're doing and what's in our heart, how our heart is doing. I think that's a really important reminder. I think that's something I don't want to make false conclusion, but I believe in my faith that God cares a lot more about how you're doing, if you're feeling well, how you're feeling, rather than your ability to just hold on to everything by yourself, not asking for help, trying to figure everything out on your own. So I guess that was another thing that I just wanted to throw it out there. To those of you who are watching, maybe you've been thinking about therapy for a while, maybe for months or even years, we want you to know that you're not alone. Your feelings are valid and it's really okay to seek help. It's a wonderful thing. It's a blessing to seek help. Therapy isn't about you being weak or something wrong with you or fixing you. It's really about allowing yourself to be human, to learn, to heal, to grow. We've included a list of mental health resources in the description below, so hopefully you can check them out. We also included our website, Defining Moments Counseling and Assessment Center. That's where all of us currently work together to provide services. If you've been carrying something heavy, maybe now is the time to take that first step. We see you, we support you, and we hope that this conversation is a small step toward healing for you, for your family, and for our community.